So there's this guy here at the Huffington Post. His name is H.A. Goodman. I think, if I understand correctly, he made a prediction about Sanders winning around the new year, and he just can't let go of it, right? So he's grasping at everything that he possibly can. This argument is about the indictment with the emails, right? Anything that Hillary's going to get indicted and Bernie's going to come to save the day, which nobody actually thinks on the inside. I mean, even if Hillary does get indicted, a lot of people think she'll just keep running anyways, which is just, I mean, it really says a lot about her character, right? She's being under suspicion for a crime, and she thinks she can still be, it's like, again, I've been over this before. I really think that Hillary's biggest problem is that she doesn't have advisors. She needs to get people around her rather than, this kind of like echo chamber, right? Like somebody has to be able to tell her these things, right? But nobody does, right? To fear her or whatever, right? And I mean, that's the, it's the nature of a dictator, right? Dictators don't get criticism because everybody's afraid to criticize them. But this is his argument here anyways, right? I mean, even if she does get indicted, she probably will keep running, but everybody knows that if she does step down, it's not going to be Sanders that steps in, right? It's going to be somebody on the inside. The guy thrown around usually is Biden, but I'm not sure that's even the most obvious out of all of them, right? You can see somebody like Nancy Pelosi thrown in instead, right? Who knows? Anyways, the Pelosi continues to actually look fairly good for her age, and I mean, just that's a take that comment for what it is. It always surprises me when I find out how old Nancy Pelosi is. And I've said more than once, obviously, but always surprises me. How old is Nancy Pelosi? She's like 78 or something. She's in her mid to late 70s, anyways. Let's see here. Come on. Come on, Wiki. What the hell? Okay. Yeah, she's 76. She's older than Bernie Sanders. It's she doesn't look 76. That's the thing, right? Looks more like 56. Anyways, where's I going in with that? Yeah, so maybe Nancy Pelosi isn't most likely, but you get the point, right? So somebody other than Sanders is gonna get parachuted in, right? What I'm saying is, like, dude, listen, you're half right, but you're grasping at straws. What you're suggesting is that Hillary will be indicted before the convention, and Bernie will therefore be the nominee. But this is some kind of projective fantasy thinking, right? In fact, the reason that Hillary has not been indicted yet, and everybody agrees that the investigation is dragging its feet, that it should be moving along quicker. Why is it moving so slowly? It's that Bernie refuses to concede. I mean, if it were the case that Clinton were to be indicted tomorrow and dropped out the next day, then that would mean that Bernie would likely be the nominee and he would probably win. So, I mean, do you think these people really want that? It's like, get real, right? I mean, if they're going to take Clinton down, it's not because they think she's too conservative and they want somebody more liberal. It's the great lie, right? This thing that lets the system function. I'm stumbling here. The system needs this lie to work, and that lie is that the perception that the United States is a democracy. We all know it really isn't. The whole thing is political theater, every cycle, every time. But we fall for it because we want to believe the lie. We want to believe. They've got great screenwriters, though. They do, really. Here's the plot, man. Okay. first they've got to get rid of Bernie. It's the first thing they have to do. Okay? Everything else is on hold until Bernie is gone. Okay? Nothing else happens. And then once Bernie's gone, then they can think about indicting Hillary. Although Trump is not making himself particularly appealing. He may have signaled that he wants to participate and play along, but he just can't keep his foot out of his mouth, right? So, but as long as Bernie is running, she'll prolong the charges. Okay, they will not charge her so long as Bernie is running. Okay, it's impossible. But don't be surprised if the indictment comes within hours of Bernie conceding. In fact, they may have charged her weeks ago if Bernie had, conceded like he was supposed to. So why won't Bernie concede? But then once Bernie's gone, they can use the email scandal to take her down, which I believe is what it was created for. If you look at it, it's I went over this once before. It's like they're charging her with sending information that was classified after she resigned. It's like really hard to get your head around, and then apparently, they're suggesting that Colin Powell also sent out information that was not classified, but then later classified, so he should be responsible for sending it out when it wasn't classified. It's the kind of thing that is confusing enough that most people will not bother trying to understand, and the media doesn't care. The media doesn't want you to understand things; they just want to work you up, right? So, as long as they get the headline out of it, and Hillary Clinton indicted, that's what they want, right? With the newspaper flying around, they sell things. They're not, they're not in the knowledge industry. They're in the business of selling you trash, just like everything else, right? And a lot of it is they sell advertising, right? And you could even make the argument that they put all the money into her campaign to ensure they could get the good scandal out of her, right? It's how these people operate, right? Like they don't care about policy. They care about selling things, right? So, I do believe that that's why the scandal exists, is to take her down. She just happened to run into a situation where both of her opponents are making themselves appear unelectable to the elites. So once Bernie is gone, then they can use the email scandal to take her down. So long as Trump lines up. Don't be surprised if that happens, although it's not. It's becoming less and less clear that Trump is going to line up, even though I do think that was the intention, right? And if that does work itself out, if they decide that they can stay with Trump, then expect a complete media takedown. Expect it to be brutal, and expect it to be final, right? Because, like I say, the people doing things in the background, they're the shady types, the shadow government. They hate her, and they don't hate her a little bit; they hate her a lot. She doesn't seem to care. I don't know. Anyways, so it's not going to be Bernie. But here's an interesting twist. The only way to stop the indictment is probably for Bernie to launch an independent run at the exact same time as he drops out of the Democratic primary. Because then Bernie's still a threat. And indicting her is no less risky. Otherwise, you're looking at the party bosses picking a candidate when the indictment does finally come. And Bernie's not on the list. But again, This all revolves around whether or not they can line up behind Trump, and they want to. They desperately want to. But he's doing just about everything he possibly can to make himself unelectable. And see, I wrote this back on the 6th. Even on the 6th, it seemed like, you know, he was, he was being walked down the garden path. But it's now the 15th when I'm narrating this, and it's hard to see how it happens. Even if I mean, they're gonna give him some more time, and they might come around to him still. But it's just, it's hard to run a guy for president when you have to, put him on a leash and on a muzzle on him, and it's just, he's a bad dog, and that's all there is to it. So yeah, I think I expressed myself clearly enough there.